welcome to Glutey yoga. So I'm just going to focus on the buttock muscles today, the glutes. I'll sit down on a chat actually. We do spend a lot of time sitting down, maybe more time than we should. Muscles forget how to work for us, they can just become soft. So if you think of muscles, forgive me if this isn't anatomically 100% correct, but just to give you an idea, if you think of a muscle as it can be soft and all the little bits of fibre that make that muscle up can be long, and then also the muscle can be hard, for want of a better word, and all those little muscle fibres to make the muscle hard get short, so everything kind of bulks up and in. So when we sit down, the muscle spends a lot of time being soft and long, and sometimes it can forget to be hard and short. So we're going to remind it today. We're going to remind the buttock muscles how to work so that when we need them to, they will support us, and so that the other parts of the body aren't overcompensating for any lack of support in that area of the body. Good, so I hope you enjoy refinding your glutes today. So we'll start by just resting on our mats. And we'll lie back, legs bent, and just have a little kind of wiggle into the floor. Once you've done that, then let your legs just stretch out along your mat. And as you connect with your breath, just to bring you into the present moment, just spend a few moments squeezing the buttock muscles and feel them kind of firm up against the floor, and then completely letting go, and then feel them kind of become soft and squidgy. So squeeze and hold. Let go of holding. So then you've got the equal and opposite reactions of those muscles. So they can be short and hard, and long and soft. So do that a few more times, just reminding the muscle itself, the memory within the muscle, just re-sparking that memory. Squeeze and release. Just do that one more time. Good, now the next time we're just going to hold the squeeze a little bit longer. So squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good, keep squeezing. And then release. Good. Bend your legs, feet flat. Hop your right ankle over your left leg. And what we'll do, we'll just allow the left knee to kind of just lift up and in towards us, without the right knee curling in towards the chest. So you're going to, without using your hands, just use the action of the leg by pressing it away. So you've got the idea of the knee moving away and also the right hip moving away from the lower right ribs. And then start to draw a circle with the top of your left knee. And notice what's going on the outside of your right hip as you do that. Change the direction of your circle. That's it. And then come back to the centre, pop your foot down, uncross your right leg, stretch your legs out again, squeeze the glutes and release the glutes. Good. Rebend the legs. Left foot over right leg. Same thing. Encourage the left knee to move away from the body, the left hip to also move away from the body, as you then perhaps let the right knee float in. You can always keep your right foot on the mat. I feel like I'm hurrying today actually, sorry about that. You can always keep your right foot down on your mat if you prefer to do that. In these kind of what I call hip focused leg shapes, it can be quite sore on the knee sometimes if you haven't quite got flexibility and movement in the areas you're looking for. So as a rule of thumb and a real guide is if your knee feels uncomfortable in any way, just move away from the place you've arrived at. Good. Good. Pop the foot down. Release the left foot. Slide your feet away. Squeeze the glutes and relax the glutes. Good. Coming back to that bent leg position. And we're going to work with the foot flexed. So a flexed foot, just to remind you, is this shape. An extended foot is when you gently point your toes away. So flexed, muscles short and contracted on the front of the leg, but long on the back, and then long on the front and short on the back. So you're working both sets of muscles the same way. So, but in this instance, we're going to flex the foot. Now we're going to have both legs in this start position. If you find that too much, you can do a single leg lift and lower a few times on one side and then change. The most important thing we're trying to do here is to not just, and forgive me if you've heard me or seen me go over this a million times, this is the 1,000,001th time. What we're avoiding is moving the leg away and then just doing this with the lower leg to find the floor, okay? So you've got this almost like your body, your leg is kind of cast. I didn't say concrete, but give you the idea of how it's fixed. And so you think of moving the thigh away as you breathe in. Your heel will find the floor, so don't reach for the floor with your heel, just let it find the floor, and then you'll breathe out back to your tabletop position. Okay, so both legs up, knees about hip width, feet about hip width, or 1 foot down, working single sides. We're going to do single sides anyway, but you'll be alternating if you've got both legs up and just doing a few on one side if you're working single sides. Here we go. So we'll go with the left leg, thigh away, breathe in, thigh back towards you, breathe out. And then the right. So just keep that going. Noticing that you really need to engage your tummy muscles to stop your back curling away, arching away from your mat. Now there are two spinal positions here you can find. One is a little bit more supported, which is where you really draw the navel to the spine and you actively encourage your lower back to flatten off into your mat. The other one is what we call a neutral spine, where you've still got a little bit of an idea of a small gap between your spine and your mat. Good, so we'll do a couple more each side. Good, next time you bring your left leg up, we'll finish there. Good, take a breath. And breathe out. And gently release both feet flat to the mat. And let's do a little bit of pelvic rocking. So pubic bone towards you as you exhale, hip points away from you as you breathe in. So inhale, hips away, exhale, pubic bone towards you. So you can feel your pelvis rocking forwards and backwards. And we'll come back to that same foot position. So just the heels on the floor, but we're going to do bridge. And more of what I like to call this a Pilates bridge rather than a yoga bridge. Pilates bridge, more of a straight line, knees, hips, shoulders. Yoga bridge, more of an arching of the spine, so your hips perhaps lift higher than in line with the knees and shoulders. But we're looking for that straight line today. A little bit more control needed through the midsection, and also the glutes have to work for you. Well done. So we're going to come up onto the heels one more time. Good. Here we go. Palms are down by the side, lightly pressing. So you'll come up as you breathe in, squeeze the glutes. You'll come back down but not touch down, squeeze the glutes. That's as you breathe out, but you're hovering above your mat. Lift as you breathe in and lower as you breathe out. Press and squeeze and lower and squeeze. So we're keeping the glutes really switched on, really firing up for us. Also a little bit of work on the backs of the legs here, your hamstrings, the backs of the thighs, and maybe you might find you're drawn to the front of your shins. Well, having the back of your shins really, so your shins. Good, now next time you lift, you're going to stay up. We're going to do tiny little pulses. So you're just going to tiny little pulses while I count down from 10, 9, 8. Keep the squeeze on the glutes. Good. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. See if you can press your hips a little higher now. Keeping your heels only on the floor. Slowly return your back and your hips to your mat. Good. Relax your glutes once you touch down. Relax your feet. Slide your feet away. And then really find that kind of squidginess in the buttock muscles. You want them to be soft, as if they're spreading out into your mat. So just reminding them then they don't have to be hard all the time either. So when we hold tension in the body a lot, most of the time, then the body just remembers that state, that muscular state. So we're trying to redress the balance of not using the glutes and overusing the glutes if they've kind of had a little bit too much going on. Well done. Let's have a little squeeze of the knees onto the chest, but we'll cross the left ankle over the right, hands on the front of the knees, draw them apart and then in towards the front of the shoulders, but try and keep your sitting bones reaching towards the front end of your mat rather than letting everything curl up. Change the cross of the feet, other one on top. Well done. Release your feet one at a time. Roll over to one side, and we're going to come up to all fours. Okay. So now we're going to work with the idea of the bottom of the heel pressing up towards the ceiling or the sky with a flexed foot. So you've got the same leg position that you had when you were on the floor a moment ago, but it's kind of just the other way up. We're also going to stabilise through the core so that as we press, we're not allowing the mid-body to kind of flap up and down. So we want a stability there so that all the action is going on in the glutes and a little bit in the leg. Well done. Firm up through your hands. Good. We're going to work with the left leg first, so engage your tummy. And let's get that leg position. Your thigh is parallel to the floor and you're making sure you're not collapsing into your right elbow. So really firm up through your right hand as well. Good. We're just going to press, 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 press. Good. Well done. Keep that navel strong. 2 more. Then we'll stretch the leg out behind us, keeping the foot flexed, lifting the leg up as much as you can, keeping your leg as stick straight as you can, and we'll press the back of the heel now. Press, press. Well done. Be careful that you haven't fatigued in the middle, so really work on firming up through that middle section. Good. Holding the leg out behind you, we're going to do some hamstring curls now. So as you breathe in, you'll curl your right heel in towards you with resistance. As you breathe out, you'll straighten the leg back out. Sorry, it's your left leg, isn't it? The left hip point is still facing the floor. So curl it in, straighten it out. 3 more. 3, 2, last 1, 1. And pop the knee down. Let's take the knees as wide as the mat. Big toes together. We're going to lead with the sitting bones and the tailbone. So tilt them up towards the sky. Relax the belly a little bit. And keep that tilt as you sit back towards your heels. Maybe you'll feel that nice release on the left glutes. Take a breath or two, maybe on your forearms, or perhaps you'd like to rest your head down. And we'll come back up to hands and knees. Readjust your knees so they're back in that kind of box position. Let's do that on the other side. So this time you're looking to try and avoid collapsing into your left arm. So press the right foot up. So it's the bottom of the right heel you're imagining you're trying to touch the ceiling with. Be careful you're not kicking your leg out behind you. So think 90 degrees and it's fixed in position a bit like it was when we were on the floor doing that little heel tap. Okay, here we go. Press. Navel is strong. Now if you're really working your tummy and this area of the body, you're going to get warm really quickly. So press, press, press. Well done. 2 more. Last one. Then stretch the leg out behind you. Lift it as high as you can. Now it's the back of the heel leading the movement as you press. 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 Good. Keep pressing. Well done. Now hold the leg out and curl the heel. Curl it in as you inhale. Release it back out as you exhale. Curl and lengthen. Good. 3 more. 3, 2, last one. 1. Stretch it out. Pop the knee down. Same kind of recovery. So we're going to sit back on the heels, leading with the sitting bones and the tailbone. Now you're allowing the right side to soften and release. Although I say soften here, obviously because we're bending forwards, the muscles around the sitting bones are having to get long, but more in a pulling action rather than a relaxing action, but we're still asking the muscle fibres themselves to become longer rather than in that short and contracted state. Well done. So let's come to hands and knees. And we're going to tuck the toes. We're going to go to downward dog with that leading of the sitting bone movement. So tilt everything up, almost back to the heels, keeping the knees as deeply bent as you can. Start to lift and feel as if your sitting bones are getting wider as you come to your downward dog. And you might like to pedal one leg then the other. And then from this downward dog, we're going to walk our hands back to our feet, so you're standing at the back of your mat. Good. And once again, we'll do that one leg bent, one leg straight, but keeping the feet flat on the floor this time. So your hands might be on your legs or on the floor, on your thighs. Good. Then we come to the position where your legs are equally bent or equally straight. Take a breath in, and you exhale, and slowly come all the way up to stand. Rolling the shoulders up, back and down, sorting your hair out if you need to. So we're just going to do a couple of roll down and roll ups. And we'll do two, and then the third one we'll add a little bit of a different approach to see if we can go a little deeper. So we'll start by drawing the chin in towards the throat a little bit, so the back of the neck feels longer. And you'll exhale your chin in and down towards your chest. Now, as you start to come forward, soften your knees. There's absolutely no rush here, so I'd like you to come forwards and really focus on each vertebra of your spine. Let your arms be really loose so they're hanging from the shoulders. And you're going down to your full range of movement here. So there's nothing in my yoga book that I share with everyone that says your hands have to touch the floor. All right, so just go into where you can reach. You may get all the way down, you may find your arms kind of get a bit crumpled if you're able to come quite low, but your knees are still soft. Once you've reached your full range of movement, you'll take a breath in there, and as you breathe out, lightly press through the feet and start to rebuild your spine again, one vertebra at a time, from the base all the way up to the top, finishing with that shoulder roll up, back and down. Okay, we'll do that again. So you draw the chin in, then you exhale it down towards the chest. Soften the knees, and this time, as you sort of round forwards, take your gaze to your navel, and keep it there if you can, even as you round down, so you can feel the spine perhaps curling a little bit more. There's no rush, please. Really go nice and slowly. I mean, it's a human nature thing to want to get somewhere, but as we exhale back up, notice what your body has to do to get you from the floor back to your upright position. Good. So this time we're going to put the hands on the hip points. And what we're going to do is we're going to be really honest with ourselves, so that we're going to come forwards without their hip points tilting. And as soon as they have to tilt to allow you to come any further forwards, you'll kind of just sigh yourself down to your forward bend. Try to keep your legs a little bit straighter or straight this time. So here we go, hands on the hip points, a little tuck of the tail, same head, chin in, chin down movement. And again, working from the top all the way down the spine, one vertebra at a time. Now, anatomically, at some stage, you'll have to allow your pelvis to tilt, otherwise you won't be able to get any further forwards. But go with what you can go with. And when you finally go, see if you've gone a little further down. And if you normally come quite far down, you might be a little closer in towards your legs here. Okay. Let's come up halfway, breathe in. Exhale as you fold. And walk the hands back out to downward dog. So we're just going to do a little bit of dog stepping now. Now you can do this on your hands and knees by all means. We're going to do maybe 5 on each side. So don't worry where your foot ends up as you do 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the 5th one where we want the foot to be as far forward as you can get it. All right. So hands and knees or downward dog. Right leg, left leg up, breathe in. Exhale, step your foot as far forwards beyond your left hand that you can. So your foot must be here. That's okay. And again, lift it up. Exhale forwards. Breathing in and out. So we've got 2 more. Okay, this next one we're going to hold. So if you find your foot gets stuck halfway, take a moment to bring your foot forwards. That might mean knee down and grabbing your foot with your hand and then setting yourself back up. So right knee can be down or right knee can be up. You can stay high on your hands, but what I'd like you to do is press your left knee against your left arm. Maybe you're happy to come onto your forearms. Maybe that's just a move too far today. Good. Coming back to your hands if you're on your forearms and stepping back to downward dog. Good. Pedaling the heels is quite nice, or you can shake off that left leg. And we do the same thing on the other side, but first of all we'll just come through a little flow. So we'll come to plank, knees down, roll to the floor. Take your hands either side of your mat and a tiny bit further forwards into a nice supported low cobra, breathing in. Exhale as you fold to the floor, or just lower to the floor really. Hands and knees. Now lead with your sitting bones again, so almost back to your heels. Widen your sitting bones as you lift up and back to downward dog. Return to your hands and knees if you're working with more support, otherwise right leg up, breathe in. Exhale, step it forwards. Good, so you're aiming to step it towards the outside of your right hand, or wherever it goes, and then you adjust it for the last one. Good, so the last one coming up. Step, step, step. Good. Left knee up or down, your choice. Well done. Squeeze the right knee into the right arm. Maybe onto your forearms. Try and keep a bit of symmetry. So if you did go onto your forearms on the other side, and you want to do that on this side if you can. Good, return to your hands. Step back to downward dog. Good, pedal the heels maybe. And then we're going to walk the feet and we're going to walk the hands back to the feet. Good. Come up halfway again. Exhale as you fold and slowly uncurl, just like we have quite a few times now. Finishing with that nice shoulder roll. I'll turn to face you actually, but first I'll go sideways to show you something else. We're going to do some squats, and we're going to, from a squat position at the back of the mat, we're going to walk back out to downward dog. Alright, so that's why we're at the back of the mat. The arm position we want is the arms are going to be forwards, but we're going to, sometimes the word plug is used here, so we want the top arm bone to plug itself into the shoulder girdle. So rather than overreaching, you're drawing the arm back. Hopefully you can see the difference. It's a bit tricky, I know, but rather than here, you're here. Okay? So both arms are forwards. This is the arm position as you breathe into your squat. Separate your sitting bones. Arm position, arms by your side, straight line here, no hips swinging forwards. So really firming up through that midsection to stabilise and stop the tendency of the body to just want to kind of swing forwards. Alright, so we're just going to do a few squats. I'll face you to do these. Feet about hip width. Always reminding you to sit your hips back as you come down rather than letting your knees come forwards. Let's get the arms forwards and up. Plug the arm bones into the shoulder girdle. Breathe in, sit back, separate your sitting bones. Breathe out, come back up, arms by your side. Really drive down through your heels as you come up. If you want to make it a bit stronger on the legs, you can work with your toes lifted. Here we go, another 9. 9. 8. 7. Well done. 6. This is a variation of Utkatasana. Good. 4. Yoga squat. 2, 1. Stay down and do little pulses, as many as you can, to my count of 10. 9. Separate the sitting bones. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay there and then fold over your legs at the back of your mat so that in your forward fold position again. Breathe in halfway up. Keep those sitting bones pointing up. You should feel that nice release. If you want to soften the knees, that's fine. And then walk your hands back out to downward dog. Good. Let's take some nice breaths in downward dog. One more breath. And from here, we're going to walk our feet and our hands towards each other. And once again, roll up to stand. You might want to turn your mat around or turn around on your mat as long as you can see me. So we're going to do, oops, feet together. We're going to do a little bit of movement again for the glutes, but also for the obliques. So the tummy muscles are going to work quite strongly for you. So we'll reach out the right leg, so on your right big toe. So at the moment my body's upright. We want a little lean of the body, so you've got the same angle. It's like a straight line if you like. If you work it from your shoulder, that might help. Shoulder, hip, ankle. Now we're going to hold this position as we lift and lower the leg. So we're going to try and avoid two things. We're going to try and avoid tipping the body as the leg lifts, and also sitting the hips back, so dipping forwards. So keep everything stable, squeeze. Let's put the hands on the ribs actually before we go. Take a breath in, into the space under your hands. And as you breathe out, squeeze. Use the muscles around that area of your body to squeeze and pull your rib cage in, tighter and tighter. Hopefully you can feel it under your hands. That's your obliques working for you. We're going to use those now. So keep that support here. Reach out with your right leg again. You're on your right big toe. And then adjust your body so you're leaning slightly, so there's a nice straight line. Hands then come to the hips. So we're going to lift and lower the right leg 10 times. We'll hold it up for 10 little pulses as well. And then what we'll do is we'll swing the leg behind us, keeping it up for the next little movement, okay? So try not to put your leg down or your foot down, unless it's coming down with the movement. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7. Watch those left toes all scrunching. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it up, little pulses. 10, 9, 8. Just little movement. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now swing the leg behind you and adjust your body so you're adjusting your body so you've got a little more upright. So you've got real work on the glutes here. Again, we're trying to avoid this little swingy movement in the midsection of the body. So lower and lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold it up. 10. Little pulses for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pop your foot down and do what you need to do to make the glutes probably on the standing side. The leg that you were standing on might be a bit more chatty. And then because you've already worked those, when we move to the other side, they may get a little bit more, respond a bit more quickly to what you're asking them to do. So same thing on the other side. Reach out the left leg, then adjust the body to that little nice angle. Squeeze here. Remember to avoid bending forwards or tipping over. Here we go. 10, 9. Now we're controlling 8. So not just letting the leg drop. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, well done, hold it up, little pulses, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just as we did on the other side, swing the leg behind you. I'll turn around again. Swing the leg behind you, hold it up. Body's a little bit more upright, stabilizing through the core. Lower lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold it up. 10. Pulsing for 10, 9, 8. As many as you can do. 6, 5, 4, 3. Legs stick straight. 2, 1. Pop your foot down. Well done. Maybe a nice little funky hip movement if that feels good. Well done. Come to the back of your mat again. Soften the knees. Roll down and walk back out to downward dog. Take a moment here. Just allow the backs of the legs to get long as well. Maybe that means bending the knees, lifting the hips a bit, and then reaching towards, lifting the heels a bit, sorry. Or maybe reaching towards the mat as you think about re-straightening your legs. We're going to walk our hands and our feet towards each other again. Slowly roll up, stepping wide on the mat. Another yoga squat variation. So the knees and the feet want to be pointing in the same direction. Just remind you from the side. You're looking to sit the hips back a little bit rather than let the knees roll forwards and in. So find your squat, okay? Nothing to do, try not to replicate me. Don't be trying to think you need to make the same shape as me, because I am me, so this is my yoga, and you are you, so you're doing your yoga. So the knees have got the idea that they're pressing back, so that you're not going to roll onto the inside of the feet. Okay, and just have a little movement from side to side. And we're going to bring the hands behind the head. And this again is a sideways movement, so we're trying not to turn and bow down over the leg. We're thinking right elbow towards right thigh, it's not going to touch, I don't think. And then left elbow towards the left thigh. Now, as you breathe in and come back upright, if you would like to, you can straighten your legs at that point. Re-bend your legs as you exhale and tip over. So you can keep the legs bent, whoops, or straight as you breathe in. So let's exhale to the right. Breathe in center, exhale to the left. So working those obliques again, the muscles we've just worked really strongly actually when we're lifting the leg out to the side. Just a couple more to each side. And then when we come up from the left this time, we're going to stay in our squat and bring our hands to the thighs. Good. Sit the hips back a little bit more, spread the sitting bones. So we're going to dip the left shoulder towards the space between the feet, but without your left leg or knee changing position. Then as you come back up, roll your left shoulder up to your ear, back and down. And then the right shoulder, roll it up, back and down. So side to side, side to side. Well done. Good, one more with the right. And then what we'll do is, we're going to square up the feet a little bit and straighten out the right leg and maybe lean your forearm, your left forearm on your left thigh. Or if you can, you can bring your hands to the floor in front of your left foot. Then you'll press down through your left foot to straighten the leg. You'll go over to the other side, bend the right leg. Remember, try and spread your sitting bones like we did when we've been into downward dog. So really feel that your sitting bones are spreading wide. And then press down through the right foot to propel you across to the left. So side to side. Now you can continue to walk your hands, or you can pop your palms one on top of the other in front of you. Really drive through the legs to move you side to side, side to side. Well done. Couple more. Good, then come to the center, hands down, walk your feet in a little bit, square up your toes at the edge of your mat. Maybe you still need to keep your knees soft. We're just going to lift halfway up and exhale, fold. Again, taking a breath or two here. Before turning towards one foot, it doesn't matter which one, then turn those toes towards the other end of your mat, stepping back to downward dog, through to plank, knees down on top of your toes, wave your way to the floor. That same cobra, hands wider than the mat, a little bit further forward as you breathe in. Exhale your way to the floor, coming up with wide knees, big toes together, separating the sitting bones as you sit back on your heels. Well done. So just a few breaths here. And then we'll make our way up, so we're kneeling up on our mats. Okay, so you might like to pad your knees. We're going to be leaning to the side with the hand on the floor. You can always use a brick or a prop if you find the floor is hard for your hand to reach. Okay, but we'll try and get there in a way that might make it more doable for you. So sitting back onto the heels, good, and then leaning onto the left hand. And then we're going to shoot the right leg out to the side and press the hips forward so we're up. Okay, if this is a challenge for you and you can't get your hips up, then pop something underneath your left hand. The right hand's going to come behind the head. In fact, your right hand's going to try and find your left ear so you can allow the weight of the head to be in the hand. Good, keeping the hips forward, and as you lift the leg, avoiding the drop back towards the heel, lift the leg and lower the leg. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it up this time, flex your foot, and little pulses. Good, 9, 8, 7, keep going, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pop the foot down, good. Sit back on your heels, sitting upright, and just observe, rather than try and remove the sensation you created, tune into it. And remember, that's what it feels like when your glutes have worked strongly for you. Hold on to that memory. It's a good one to have. Whew. Other side, coming up. Oh no, sitting down. So right hand on the floor, your toes are tucked because that's a little bit more support in a balanced way. So right hand to the floor, then we'll stretch the left leg out, and then we'll come up. So you want your hips, particularly your right hip over your right knee. Again, look for the prop if that works better for you. Left hand behind the head, you're holding onto the right ear with the left hand, your head's heavy in your hand, extending so you're flexing your foot as you lift and lower. Lift and lower. Do be careful as you lift the leg, you're not letting your bottom drop back towards that heel. So keep the hips pressing. 5, good. 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold the leg up, flex the foot, little pulses, as many as you can. Good. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yikes. Good. Sitting back, spinning around. So you're sitting on your mat with your legs extended out in front. So we're going to do a seated pigeon pose. And we're going to cross the left ankle on top of the right leg. Okay? Leaning on your hands. You can hang out here, that's absolutely okay. It's similar to what we did at the beginning, if you remember, when we were lying down. And if you're okay to go a little further, you'll bend the right leg. That might be enough. Keeping the chest lifted rather than letting everything collapse down. You're encouraging that left knee and hip to stay moving away from the body rather than curling in towards the body. Now you might want to lift your hips up, forwards and down a few times. You may find you can get all the way to your heel, but then that may not be your thing. So lifting the chest, encourage the knee to stay away, encourage the hip to stay away from the ribs. Notice what sensation you've made by making this shape with your body, this pose. And then we gently release, so you come back to where you started, but nice and gently, sort of step by step. The leg straightens out if it was bent, then you uncross. Again, leaning on the hands, just kind of a little roll of the legs from side to side. Good, okay, let's do the other side. So right ankle on left thigh. I think I'm a bit coldy today, sorry if I'm panting. Good, so we're going to stay here, or perhaps bend that straight leg. Chest lifted as you are, or maybe bringing the sitting bone towards the heel, encouraging that right knee and hip to stay as if you're trying to move it away from the body rather than letting it kind of squash in towards you. If you can remember what it felt like on the other side, you can compare the sensations, but in a positive way. You're just noticing all the little differences that perhaps imbalances in the body which we all naturally have. And then coming away from that movement, finishing with both legs extended and a little roll of the legs from side to side. So we're going to come back down and just do another bridge variation. So make your way down to your mat, rolling your spine like we did when we were uncurling to standing. It's the same movement, but you're just lying down as you do that. And this time we're going to do bridge with the feet wide. And as we did in our wide squat position, you're going to have the action in the legs as if you're trying to press your knees away. So when we lift and lower, as we did at the beginning, but the feet were closer together, we don't want the knees to come in, roll in, and then open. So we're going to keep the knees in the same position. Arms by your side. Good. Starting to squeeze the glutes as you lift, just to that straight line. Now notice if your knees have gone all wobbly, so press down into your feet and have the action again as if you were pressing your knees into something firm. And as you exhale, keep that pressing through the knees as you lower to your hover, keeping the glutes squeezed. Breathe in, press, good, and breathe out, lower, but still pressing the knees. And again, squeeze. So you're working the outer glutes here and the outside of the legs. Just doing that a few more times. So lift, let's get a bit more tempo. We'll do another 10. So 10, 9, keep the squeeze on the legs. 8, well done. 7, 6, 5, squeeze, squeeze the whole time. So there should be no softness in those glutes. We want them hard and short muscle fibers. Stay up this time. As many little pulses as you can do from 10, 9, 8, 7, watch the knees, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a breath in. Exhale, just start to let go of any holding. Relax the back, the buttocks, the outside of the legs, heel to your feet and knees towards each other. So let's go back to that little pigeon pose again. So we'll hook the left foot on the right thigh, encouraging the knee and the hip to stay away from each other. Stay here, or let the right knee float in towards you, maybe holding the back of the right leg this time. Maybe you've got your hands over your shin. So you can hang out here. If you want to go a little deeper, you can hold onto the outside of the left foot with the right hand and make sure you've got your foot flexed, or you can bring your foot into the inner elbow and then you'll wrap your left arm around your left knee, squeezing the leg towards you as you extend your right leg along your mat. So again, that's not everyone's thing. It's quite strong and it can be quite impactful on the knee. Keep your foot flexed on your left foot, or on your left leg, so keep it flexed. Rebend the right leg if it's straight. Replace your left foot back onto your right thigh. If you had hold of it, pop your right foot down, uncross your left, stretch your legs out, squeeze the glutes, release the glutes. Let's do the other side. Good. So hook the foot. Staying here is absolutely fine. If this is a strong position for you, then you're probably in the right place and don't need to go any deeper. You can bring the leg closer, maybe holding the back of the thigh or over the shin. What I'd like to encourage you to do is not just to jump to that final variation, is to spend a few breaths, maybe with the hands on the thigh or over the shin first. Just to remind you, if you're working in the full version, you're going to bring the sole of the right foot into the inner left elbow, and then the forearm comes along the outside of the lower leg, and then the other arm, the knee goes into the inner right elbow. You hug the leg in towards the body and perhaps extend the left leg out along the mat. So for me on this side, that is really strong. So I'm just going to re-bend the left leg, but keep that extra kind of awareness on the right thigh and the right buttocks. So you rewind by releasing, ending up where you started, which is your left foot on the mat, your right foot on your left thigh, then you uncross. You settle into your mat, stretch the legs out, squeeze the glutes, release the glutes. And to allow us to just let go of any holding, let's remind the body and the mind itself of what holding feels like. So press the backs of your heels into your mat as hard as you can. Press the back of your head firmly, but not too much. And then squeeze the glutes. Take a breath in. Now press your arms and hands into the floor. Holding your breath softly for 5. Press, squeeze, 4. Notice what tension feels like. 3. Hold, 2, 1, and let go of holding. And anything you're holding on to that you no longer need, let it go with the breath. As you surrender into the stillness of Shavasana and give yourself permission to simply let go. Stay here for as long as you need. And until the next time, Namaste.